In the previous video we explored the inspector and how it gives you full control over your clip, both video and audio. You'll learn how to adjust properties like position, scale and use keyframes to create simple animation. Now the next step is adding simple effects in the edit page to make your footage more dynamic. Instead of static clips, you'll be able to add movement, guide the viewer's attention and create smoother transitions between shots, making your edits feel more natural and engaging. By the end of this video, you'll be able to apply basic visual effects, enhance your footage, and use transitions to create your clips in a clean and professional way. So let's transfer to the monitor. So inside the edit page, open the effects library. This is where you'll find different tools to modify and enhance your video. Every effect and transition you can preview just like drag cursor from the left to right. Let's quickly go through the main section and see what different sections are used for. Transitions. A video transition is a visual effect used to move from one clip to another. By default, clips are connected with a hard cut, which means one clip instantly replaces the next. A transition changes that by creating a smoother or more styled connection between two. For example, instead of instant cut, one clip can gradually fade into another, or the screen can briefly go black before the next clip appears. Or it can slide or any other action to transit from first action to the second action. Transitions are used to make edits feel more natural, guide the viewers through the changes in the scenes and control the pacing of the video. Of course, it can be used on a single footage. Later on in this video, I will show you example effects that I'm using in some of my videos. Titles. Here you can add quick text to the timeline. The main effect here is text plus, and others are created based on that, like with predefined style and animation, but they're ready to use. You will see how we can use other titles and video transitions to create useful effects. Generators. Generators are built-in visual elements that create content without using any video footage. Instead of importing a clip, you can use a generator to produce things like solid colors, gradients, or simple animated background directly inside DaVinci Resolve. If you scroll down, you can find also predefined animation of background and text combined. They are commonly used for backgrounds behind text, intro, or title screens. Effects. The effects section contains visual tools that you can apply directly to clips to change how they look. Unlike generators, which create new visuals, effects modify existing footage. Just drag and drop to your clip the effect and option will appear in the effect tab in the inspector, where you can adjust a few settings for a particular effect. You can use as many effects as you want, they will stack together. If an effect is applied to a clip, this small star icon will appear. Let's check a few of them, and rest you can check by yourself. The coolest one, in my opinion, is the binocular effect. Drag and drop and the binocular will appear. You can see there is a blur around the corners. You can adjust from settings, blur strength, aberration distance and strength, which controls how far the color channels are shifted apart and how intense or visible the effect is. Have many options like vignette size and sharpness, edge blur, mask blur. Also, you can adjust the size of the eyes and their position. Just play with controls to achieve the desired effect. The next is CCTV effect, also good for camera representation. Here I have record light on and off from this checkbox. Adjust the scan line angle. I will zoom in so you can see how the angles of that noise line are changing. You can also adjust noise size, strength and blur size. All of these effects you can create and even custom one in Fusion tab, but we'll cover that in some of the next videos. Resolve effects. Resolve effects are DaVinci Resolve built-in visual effects. They are part of the effect library and include a wide range of tools for improving or stylizing your footage. Maybe you noticed all effects are divided into different groups like blur, color, film emulation, generate, key, light, open color, refine, revival, sharpen, stylize, temporal, texture, transform, wrap. The main difference is that Resolve effects are specifically developed by DaVinci Resolve, and some of the more advanced ones are available only in Studio version. Just like other effects, you apply them by dragging them onto a clip and adjusting them in the inspector. If you don't know what inspector is and what you can do it, watch this video in the top right corner. Let's see 5 practical usage of simple visual effects that I'm sure you used in your video in the free version of DaVinci Resolve. Number 1. Slide and push transitions. First, let's prepare our footage. Then drag above a solid color generator and above it add text plus title and adjust to be a few frames shorter than the background. I will leave it black color. Then I will drag and drop the slide effect from the video transition. It's very similar to push transition. Adjust the duration of the animation, place it in the beginning so our background and text will both slide in from left to right. Adjust also motion blur for title and adjust ease animation for both to be in and out. Look how smooth text flows in. Then add push transition at the end of the clip, adjust frame duration, add motion blur for text and ease animation for text and background. So now we have a smooth slide out of the text and background and we can continue with our story. Number 2 is drop shadow. Here I use a clip with the mountain peak view and I will place text on top of that clip. The drop shadow effect adds a shadow behind an object in your clip, usually text or graphics, to create separation from the background. Instead of elements looking flat, the shadow gives it a sense of depth and make it easier to see. You have some options to adjust from inspector like shadow strength. This is how intense the shadow should be. With the drop angle settings, you can adjust where the shadow should be measured in degrees. Drop distance is the distance of the shadow from the object. Number 3. Adjustment clip. An adjustment clip is a special type of clip that lets you apply effects to multiple clips at once. Instead of adding the same effect to each clip individually, you place an adjustment clip above your footage or the timeline, and any effect applied to it will affect everything underneath. For this example, I will use the same clip and above I will use the same text with the shadow effect. The desired effect will be to zoom in both, but instead of animate both clips, I will add an adjustment clip on top. I will add the transform effect on this adjustment clip and I will animate the zoom option. Do you see that both are now zooming in? That's great. Number 4. Blanking fill. Let's say you have a moment in your video that you need to show a vertical clip in horizontal timeline. Most common uses when reviewers show a camera test. If you don't have a background, it just looks weird. Here comes blanking fill, which fill your transparent background with a vertical clip and has plenty of options like zoom, crop left, right, top, bottom. This will crop your video and also adjust the background. Fill extent option that you can choose from drop down stretch to timeline, which in some cases looks ugly if your video height is much bigger than your video width. Zoom to timeline is the most often choice that would be okay. Then you can adjust the appearance with a blend edge, which will add a shadow to a clip, blur background and face amount, which you can set a color and it's like an overlay. You can also adjust the drop shadow effect here. It's very similar useful effect which I recommend. Number 5. Camera shake. The camera shake effect simulates natural movement as if the footage was recorded with handheld camera. Instead of perfectly stable image, it adds small controlled motion to make the shot feel more dynamic and realistic. Here's what the main sliders do. Motion scale, this controls how big the shake is. Speed scale, this sets how fast the shakes happen. Motion blur, this is gold for realism. Make it like 50 to 100% so the movement doesn't look like robotic jitter. You also see specific axes you can play with. Pan amplitude, this is X movement, left or right. Tilt amplitude, this is Y movement, up and down, and rotation amplitude, slight rolling or twisting. PTR speed, this lets you control the frequency separately from the global speed scale. These are, in my opinion, the most common options for camera shake. You can play around with them on a short clip first. In this video you'll learn how to use the effect library in the edit page. You now understand how to work with transitions, titles, generators and effects to improve your footage. You also learn how to apply effects to your clips, use adjustment clips to affect multiple clips at once, and add simple visual enhancement like drop, shadow and camera shake. In the next video we'll focus on viewer overlay controls, working with transform tools directly in the viewer using OpenFX overlay, cropping, and one of the easiest way to replace a green screen. If you missed the previous video on essential editing tools, make sure you're watching it to understand how to properly add clips to your timeline using tools like insert, append and override, or if you want to know how to make a timeline, sound bites and subclips, watch this video. See you in the next one.